After standing face-to-face against four of the fiercest and toughest names ever to step into the boxing ring, Tyson Fury, Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua, and Derek Chisora, the Ukrainian Alexander Usyk has proven that he is not just a passing fighter, but an extraordinary phenomenon who has redefined the meaning of tactical intelligence and mental toughness inside the ring. A boxer who doesn't rely on excessive physical power, but on a unique harmony between movement, speed, and fighting vision, making every step he takes a puzzle for his opponents. From his tough battle against Derek Chisora to his historic epic against Anthony Joshua, passing through his controversial encounter with Daniel Dubois, and finally his greatest clash with Britain's giant Tyson Fury. Each of these fights was a decisive test in Usyk's career, drawing new boundaries for his strength of character and unique skill. And as the victories piled up, and the statements and interviews in which Usyk speaks continue, one question kept echoing in the minds of boxing fans. Who was the toughest opponent Alexander Usyk faced in his heavyweight journey? A question that might seem easy to answer, but behind it lies battles of fire, moments of collapse and resilience, and memories that the Ukrainian crafted with unforgettable mastery. In this video, we'll dive together into the details of Usyk's most prominent fights against these four greats, analyzing how he dealt with each of them, what distinguished every encounter, and how he managed to turn challenges into achievements, leading up to the straightforward answer: who was the strongest and fiercest among them in Alexander Usyk's eyes? His first fight against Derek Chisora on October 31st, 2020 at Wembley Arena in London, Ukrainian Alexander Usyk stepped for the first time into a real heavyweight test, facing the seasoned British warrior Derek Chisora, known for his ferocity and aggressive spirit inside the ring. From the very first round, Chisora charged forward with his usual style. Relentless pressure, non-stop advancement, trying to turn the fight into a physical street war. He used his size advantage to push Usyk to the ropes, unleashing heavy blows to the body and head. At first, the Ukrainian seemed to be testing the force of the storms that the heavyweight division brings, but as time passed, Usyk's intelligence began to shine. He used his feet skillfully, dodging attacks, moving lightly from one angle to another, imposing a completely different rhythm from Chisora's brutality. He relied on fast, straight punches and a repetitive jab that cut off the Briton's advance and forced him to hesitate. In the middle rounds, Chisora appeared to lose some of his momentum, worn down by the continuous chase after a fighter who vanished and reappeared with astonishing speed. Usyk, for his part, wasn't looking for a knockout, but to drain his opponent physically and break him mentally. With each passing minute, his punches grew sharper, his movements smoother, while Chisora breathed heavily, staggering through incomplete attacks. By the final rounds, the scene was clear. Usyk was dominant in points and effective strikes. The fight ended with a unanimous decision win for Alexander Usyk. The second fight, Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua, on September 25th, 2021. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London hosted a historic bout between Ukrainian Alexander Usyk and British Anthony Joshua for the WBA, WBO, and IBF heavyweight titles. From the start, Usyk surprised everyone with his constant movement and quick punches from unfamiliar angles, while Joshua seemed hesitant. The early rounds saw the Briton trying to use his long jab to keep his opponent away, but the Ukrainian closed in with measured steps, and in round 3, he rocked Joshua's head with a strong left hand, signaling a tough night ahead for the champion. In the middle rounds, Joshua tried to attack the body to slow his opponent's movement, but he found himself chasing a ghost. His brief resurgence in round 9 didn't last long, as Usyk countered with sharp retaliations that embarrassed the Brit in front of his home crowd. The 12th round was a spectacle. A barrage of punches from Usyk forced Joshua back to the ropes, nearly dropping him before the bell. The judges' unanimous decision came. Usyk wins, taking the 3 world titles. But the story didn't end there. On August 20th, 2022, under the lights of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, they met again, Joshua fighting to reclaim his titles and pride, while Usyk entered the ring representing his war-torn nation, turning the match into a message of resilience. From the start, Joshua seemed more cautious, focusing on body shots to drain his rival's energy, but Usyk faced him with an even tougher, smarter version of himself, moving lightly and constantly changing angles. In round 9, Joshua nearly shifted the momentum, pressing hard with a flurry of punches that forced the Ukrainian back for a moment. But what happened next was the turning point. Usyk entered round 10 reborn, unleashing a precise combination that pushed Joshua onto the defensive. He dominated the 11th, and by the 12th, the Brit looked slower and heavier, while Usyk finished the fight with decisive strikes confirming his superiority. superiority. The result was tense. One judge sided with Joshua, but the other two scored it for Usyk, who won by split decision, retaining his titles. Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. The first fight took place on August 26, 2023. Wrocław, Poland. Ukrainian Alexander Usyk met young Brit Daniel Dubois for the first time in a bout for the unified heavyweight titles, a clash of brute strength against sharp strategy. From the opening seconds, Dubois tried to impose his immense power, throwing multiple body shots, while Usyk moved with dazzling agility, constantly changing angles, landing counterpunches at the perfect moments, and forcing his opponent to chase him endlessly. The early rounds were fast-paced exchanges, with Usyk holding a slight edge in distance and tempo control. Then, in the fifth round, came a controversial moment. Dubois landed a hard punch to the midsection, and Usyk fell to the canvas. The audience split. Some saw it as legal, others as a low blow. The referee ruled it low, giving the Ukrainian time to recover. Afterward, Usyk came back with renewed determination, regaining control, striking with pinpoint accuracy, and turning every Dubois attack into a counter opportunity. In the middle rounds, Dubois tried to apply more pressure, focusing on body and head to reduce movement, but Usyk danced around him, exploiting every mistake, landing lefts and rights from all directions. Then came the decisive moment in round 9. A powerful left hand dropped Dubois, forcing him up quickly, but he couldn't regain control, and the referee stopped the fight with a technical knockout in Usyk's favor. Less than 2 years later, the rematch came on July 19, 2025, Wembley Stadium, London, with higher stakes than ever. Dubois entered calmer and more disciplined, seeking revenge, while Usyk looked tactically superior from the start. From round 1, the Ukrainian controlled the center of the ring, moving side to side, landing fast, precise punches, forcing Dubois to chase him non-stop. The middle round saw more pressure from Dubois, but he couldn't break through Usyk's defense or stop his counters. Then, in round 5, came the thunderous end. A sharp left combination dropped Dubois twice, and after the second fall, the referee stopped the fight with a technical knockout, confirming Usyk's undisputed superiority. Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury on May 18, 2024. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ukrainian Alexander Usyk faced British Tyson Fury for the first time, not merely for the undisputed world heavyweight titles, but as a clash of two opposing styles: Usyk's tactical brilliance and blinding speed versus Fury's massive size and physical strength. From the opening seconds, Fury tried to impose his power on Usyk, firing heavy shots to the body and head, raising the fight's tempo to a level that electrified the crowd waiting for one giant to fall. But Usyk, as always, wasn't there to play the victim. He moved with breathtaking lightness, constantly shifting angles, reading his opponent like an open book. With each round, Usyk adjusted his rhythm, countered precisely, and turned every Fury attack into a chance for a swift, effective response. In round 9, Fury nearly shifted the tide, pushing Usyk to the ropes, but the Ukrainian endured with intelligence, exploiting every gap to unleash combinations that exhausted the British champion. The fight ended in a split decision win for Usyk, marking a historic victory and crowning him the undisputed heavyweight world champion. 7 months later, on December 21, 2024, again in Riyadh, the rematch took place. This time, Fury entered with greater determination to reclaim his titles. He began calmly and controlled, trying to dictate the pace using his physical advantage. But Usyk, more resilient than ever, used his speed and flawless movement to evade heavy punches and counter every attack, relying on his vast ring experience. The middle rounds were intense. Fury pressed with all his might, but Usyk maintained control, balancing offense and defense with extraordinary precision. In the 12th round, Usyk closed the show with a series of powerful combinations, leading the judges to award him another victory, allowing him to keep his world titles and reaffirm his technical superiority over the British giant. After all these monumental battles that Alexander Usyk fought throughout his legendary career, against some of the greatest boxers of the modern era, one question kept coming up in every interview: who was the toughest opponent you ever faced? Usyk, who has faced massive, strong opponents with vastly different fighting styles, didn't hesitate to answer, saying frankly, "Tyson Fury is the strongest and most challenging. His body size and power made me fight with everything I had." This statement wasn't a casual remark, but came from a champion who had endured the hardest heavyweight battles and stood against the most dominant names. Usyk clarified that Fury wasn't just a massive puncher, but a relentless force with the ability to control the ring's tempo in unexpected ways. He said, "I've faced fighters stronger and heavier, but I've never felt such constant pressure every round. Every moment demanded full focus. Every mistake could have cost me the fight." And he added, "His speed and movement inside Inside the ring, how he suddenly changes his angles made him an exceptional opponent. Even when I tried to respond, he created new opportunities to press or counterattack. Usyk never downplayed his other opponents, always expressing deep respect for Joshua's power and heavy punches and for Dubois' aggression and spirit. But he emphasized that only Fury made him feel that the ring was testing every ounce of his strength and skill, an experience few world champions ever face. With this statement, the Ukrainian admitted that the greatest test he ever faced wasn't against a faster or lighter fighter, but against a massive, physically powerful man who also possessed immense fight intelligence and total control of the ring, Tyson Fury.